You know how people say, follow your passion. Well, last month I decided my passion was coffee. I'd spent so many mornings sitting in my local cafe, sipping a latte and pretending to be productive, that I thought, how hard can it be to make coffee? You just press some buttons and smile. So when I saw a sign that said now hiring a barista wanted, I walked in like I was entering my destiny. The manager, a cheerful woman named Lindsay, looked at me and asked, have you ever worked in coffee before? I replied, with all the confidence of someone who has zero experience. I drink a lot of it. She laughed. I thought I nailed it. She handed me an apron and said, you start tomorrow. The next morning, I showed up early, ready to become the hero of caffeine. The smell of roasted beans, the indie music in the background, it felt like I was in a movie. Then Lindsay said, all right, you'll start with the espresso machine. That's when the movie turned into a horror film. The espresso machine looked like something NASA would use to launch satellites. It had more buttons than my TV remote and way more potential for public humiliation. I pressed one. Steam exploded. I pressed another. More steam. By my third attempt, I'd managed to cover the entire counter in a thick layer of hot milk foam. It was like a winter wonderland, but sticky. Just then, a customer came in. My first real order. She said, can I get an oat milk cappuccino with half a shot, no foam, and extra hot? I just stared at her. Those words didn't even make sense together. Half a shot. No foam on a cappuccino. I just nodded like I understood every word, turned around, and immediately forgot half of it. 5 minutes later, I handed her something that looked like beige soup in a cup. She took one sip, made a face, and said, this tastes like regret, and then she just walked away, leaving me with my failure. Meanwhile, Lindsay was making drinks at the speed of light, a blur of motion and perfectly steamed milk. She patted my shoulder and said, don't worry, you'll get the hang of it. Spoiler alert, I did not. Next, I was moved to the register. Easy, right? Wrong. The first guy ordered 5 complicated drinks, and I somehow charged him for 50. When I tried to fix it, the cash drawer jammed shut, and the receipt printer started spitting out paper like a party streamer. At this point, I was sweating more than the espresso machine. Then came the lunch rush. It was a wave of Canadians fueled by caffeine and an almost aggressive politeness. People were apologizing while being mad at me. Sorry, but I think you forgot my drink, eh? Sorry, but this isn't almond milk, eh? My personal favorite. Sorry, but why is my muffin on fire? Yes. I lit a muffin on fire in the toaster oven. Don't ask how, I'm still not sure. It was pure, smoky chaos. In the middle of the rush, I accidentally mixed up 2 drinks. One guy had ordered a simple black coffee. Another wanted a caramel macchiato with extra whipped cream. In my panic, they switched cups. The black coffee guy took a sip of the sweet, creamy concoction and just said, this is fancy. The macchiato guy, however, took a swig of straight black coffee. He betrayed, and asked, what is this, motor oil, by 3 in the afternoon? I was vibrating. I'd been taking quality control sips all day, and I'd basically replaced my entire blood supply with espresso. Finally, the day ended. Lindsay came over and said, you did great for your first day. I looked around. The counter was a sticky mess. The floor was a Jackson Pollock painting of coffee and syrup. And one of the blenders was making a sound that definitely wasn't normal. I just smiled weakly and said, so, same time tomorrow. She laughed, maybe take a few days off. That night, I sat on my couch with a cup of instant coffee, cheap, simple, and perfect. And you know what? I realized something. Being a barista isn't just about making coffee. It's about surviving chaos with a smile, handling caffeine overdoses gracefully, and never, ever underestimating the complexities of oat milk. So yeah, I worked in a coffee shop for 1 day. It was a complete disaster, but at least I left with a story, a slightly burn-free muffin, and a permanent smell of espresso on my soul. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed my tale of coffee chaos, hit that like button and subscribe for more stories.